Hello, welcome back to another progressive video. I'm Carole Neales from Clearwater Property Partners, and today I'm here with LifeShare, Judy and Abby, and we're going to talk about their charity and the way that they operate in Greater Manchester. They're actually one of the oldest charities around. So if you want to know more about social housing, supported living, I recently did a podcast with Kevin McDonald, and you can find the information about all of that on the link below this video. Ladies, it's wonderful to be here with you today. So Abby, you're marketing director.
Marketing and digital manager, yeah.
Yeah. And Judy,
Operations,
you are just the longest serving, most amazing person here at LifeShare. So could I ask both of you just to give a bit of an intro as to what you do here, why you do it, and how the charity operates in and around Manchester?
We started as a charity in 1984. We're the oldest homelessness charity in Manchester, 40 years in 2024. And we started as a soup van going around Chinatown and the Gay Village. And we've adapted our support since then. So we're the first people to bring clients indoors for meal service. We're the first to have a needle exchange on our vans. We're the first bond scheme in Manchester. A lot of that's based on taking on the feedback of the people we support and seeing what services they need and what would be beneficial to them. And that's taken us up to present day, where we have 3 times a week we serve hot breakfast for us sleepers. So from 7 to 9 a.m, a hot full English breakfast. And then also we offer showers and a clothing bank. On Fridays we also have a little additional offer from 9 to 11 as part of respite, helping people sort of relax from the survival mode, and perhaps even they might just sit and read the paper, have a cup of tea. Sometimes we have support services come in, whether it be drug and alcohol services, accommodation, might be a barber, might be an eye doctor, whoever we can get to try and keep providing those. We also have a digital inclusion initiative, which was Judy's brainchild, but basically a lot of the support services that our clients were using were going online, coming from our benefits from 2016. And so we formed this digital collective to help bridge the divide between those who do and don't have access to data. So we give out devices, we refurbish them and give them back out. We also give out data packages and SIMs, and we have digital skills workshops. So we try and both one-to-one and in group sessions help people get digital skills, and then they can access support independently, whether it be benefits or things like this.
Where did you do all that from?
From right here in our office in Northern Quarter in Manchester. Wow. So, yes. We host the breakfast at the Mosaic Wellbeing Hub, which is on Dale Street, which is about a 6-minute walk from here.
You used to do all this from one building, didn't you?
Yeah.
You used to have a big building, and everybody used to be able to come there and access absolutely everything.
Yeah.
So has that made it quite challenging for you to provide the services on the same way that you used to?
A little bit, yes, but and then we're losing this building again now as well. So it has just been the past few years. It's just a constant challenge for us, really, to be able to get one place where we can do all our services.
Why did you lose your buildings?
Bought to a property investor, and they're going up 20 stories plus.
But they didn't provide you with an alternative space for you to move into?
No.
Okay.
No, and very little spot to find one. So we've been trying. And everywhere that we go in the city is just way out of our price range. Or if once we mention we want young people to come in and have one-to-one appointments, life skill lessons and things like that, they don't want clients coming in the building. So even if they'd let us have an office, they don't want clients to come into the building.
So you need a completely separate, individual building on its own. So like things I buy, because I do 70% of my business is social impact investing and 30% is private rented sector. So I would look for a pub or something like that for somebody like you, where you could convert the whole of the ground floor and use that for your walk-in services and your provisions, and then upstairs you might use for your offices and your food services,
and
showers,
Great. Separate entrances as well, and that makes sure if they have the drop-in space, and then if people go upstairs for one-to-one appointments, if they're they need to have private conversations because they're going through a lot, then they can have their dignity and privacy is respected, as well as having say a cooking class going on or a lunch service or whatever it might be. Really having that space that functions for all of those things and can be help to inform sort of community there as well. They feel like they can always come to that, whether it's for the drop-in, you've been to a bunch of drop-ins, and then when you are in crisis, you know you're in a safe place when you get there.
Yeah.
So it helps the sort of emotional side to it as well.
So how can we help people with their mindset? What are the benefits to a company long term? Get involved with a charity.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There are so many. So we've really found that people who have a charity or cause that they've worked with long term, as you say, it allows you to help where you can help. So a great example of that is one of our construction partners was Vinci Construction, and they had a site that came up at New Victoria 3 years ago. And so they got in touch. Judy had worked with one of their big cheeses, Tony, and he had been keen to have us as one of their selected charities. We worked with them a bit over the first sort of 8 months. They did an Easter chocolate appeal. They'd done a few things with us. All of it sort of more standard stuff. And then when we came to time to plan our Christmas project and we had lost our site, we were asking for quotes for pricing, and people didn't want all of our clients coming in. They didn't want to say, 60 homeless people are going to come sit for the day. We mentioned it. We said, do you know of anywhere? Because you know things about property. We were just shooting in the dark. And one of their team said, hold on. What do you like? Tell me about what you need. And we needed a big open canteen space. We needed an on-site kitchen. We needed showers. We needed a few private rooms. We thought, well, that's our site cabins have that. Our welfare cabins are that. So then he went back to his team, got the approval, came back to Judy. She got our board of trustees on board with that. But then instead of having that site be closed over the holiday period, it was open. We fed close to 5,000 people. 5,000 meals rather. But all of that relationship wouldn't have worked if they hadn't had that conversation. And now sometimes they tell us no. We've worked with them for years. Sometimes they're like, we can't help with that. But because they were willing to discuss what the general needs were, then they could say, this is the project that we can make an impact on. And we hosted the project there for 2 years.
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough to work in it for the last 2 years. Yeah. And having seen it for myself operate, it was like clockwork. Yeah. It was easy. And because I think one of the things that a lot of developers might be worried about is the safety and theft. But having seen that in operation, it was amazing. We just had the fences up along the side. Yeah. They came in one way, went out the other way. And I mean, it worked. And we had no trouble.
None at all.
It was absolutely amazing. And I think that a lot of construction companies would think that would be difficult, but knowing that they could do it, they could then come to you, talk about it, see how they could work it. Vinci, I presume, would be open to...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we've done the first year, as you can imagine, the I's and T's for the insurers, because it's never been done.
Yeah.
And we have that sort of...
the blueprint.
The blueprint now, for want of a better word.
So you could help other charities as well.
Absolutely.
Roll that kind of thing out over
for me,
holiday
it's
period.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
It's worldwide. If you look at every city in every country, it has... somewhere I'll have the cabins like those three-tier cabins, and that has the potential to open its doors, because most sites close from the 23rd of December and don't open back. So we do have the blueprint of how that could do,
and that's helped Vinci as well in its
award after an award
for its community service.
The British Construction Industry Awards, they won the best community service initiative in the country.
Right.
I got to go to London. It was the fanciest event I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah.
I was like, I work for a tiny homelessness charity where
Battersea Power Station, they pipped.
It was amazing.
It was mind blowing, and having all of those people who work in across the construction industry, different supply chain and investment capacities, all of them seeing that type of project. I thought that was really cool, because then maybe that'll give them the idea to do something similar. But Vinci, they've won, their considerate contractor scores were amazing because they had the extra.
They got an extra 2 points, didn't they?
I mean, for them, they do it, I think, because they want to. Yeah. But if a company's never done it before and because they can't see the benefit in it, we can see by them doing it what the benefit to them is. Because to me, it's like the community then favours them more, industry then favours them more. They get better contracts because they have a social awareness. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the giving back comes back in
it comes
tenfold
back
then.
tenfold.
Yeah.
And we are looking for a construction partner for 24. So
Yeah.
if anybody's watching this and you fancy speaking to us, please get in touch.
During this conversation, we just had a quick break, and I wanted to let you know that there is a link below this video which will give you access to a 42-step guide to getting into property. So please do click the link below, and that will give you a starting point to getting into your property journey. So we all want you to succeed, and I'm just going to quickly go back to Judy and Abby, and we are going to talk about how we can succeed helping charities in our local community.
I think the other benefit as well, that might be another, I don't know if it's quite monetary, but I think it ended up being for them, is that site had really good cohesion amongst the teams, and having a unified charity initiative, it gave them, they were volunteering, they were talking to the canteen, they were doing all of this, and that build finished months and months ahead of time because they worked really well together. I'm not discounting the fact that they're all really good at their jobs. Because that's important. But I think having that extra way for the team to bond and work together and have those goals, the people who all volunteered, a bunch of them are coming back this year even though we're not on their site.
Yeah.
They built that relationship with the site team and the community, and that made it a better place to work, which I think would make it, more efficient.
Yeah.
People want to show up in the morning, they're keen to get there, they're keen to do things. So,
Yeah.
there's benefits that you can't quantify, but having everyone on site get along and be excited to be there every morning, it's not going to hurt.
Really, really good for the local community.
Oh, amazing.
Really, really good.
And I think it's good as well if you have if you're going after, not at the same people do it for that, but say you were going after planning permission for a site, if you've already got your agreement with your local charity, it might not be us, but a charity, and then you've already got these plans, then I think that looks more favourable for you on the planning permission for right off from the start.
Because you're community centred already. So would you say that if people follow their passion and if they get involved in something that they like, and then that then evolves into the local community, when they're then looking to do developments, as you have just said, people are going to look more favourably on that.
Absolutely.
So what would you say that the government could change that could filter down into charities, housing associations, that would make the biggest change?
Well, I think a really good idea would be, I don't know the mechanism, it could be like a point system or a rating for like how B Corps are, but incentivize people to give back to their community. And then if there's a point system, like how we do consider contractor scores or things like this, then when you've already shown that you do that work, when you've already shown that you engage, then the next time you apply for permission or the next shop that you bid on, you're already seen as that step above. They know that you're going to do that. They know that you complete that work, you evidenced it, and then it rewards the people who are doing that. And then they want to engage more. If they're seeing good results from it, those people will continue. And then new people who come onto the scene will say, oh, this is the right way to do it. This is standard practice. And then there's sort of more blueprint for newer people to keep doing things like that, to keep having those programs. And even if it's bigger companies have things on a large scale and smaller operations can do things, piecemeal, it still all would filter back in.
No, I think that's a great example. Haven't you just recently, didn't you work with somebody who...
Yeah, I mean, they were tasked initially on the first, they were building their HQ, and they were tasked, they had to have so many percentage from the local area, they had to have work with the local charity, so that was us. We then designed a real work programme so that we could then bring our young people. Obviously there was criteria, they had to be free from substances and various others, but when that young person was ready, we could refer them to work on that site. And then what was really, really successful, the HQ got built, and when the planning permission for the second build, which was very large training ground for a very prestigious football club, they won that contract.
Wow.
Because of the work that they'd done on the HQ.
So that genuinely counted towards...
Genuinely, and the 3 young people that had worked on the HQ then went over and worked on the training centre and ended up fully qualified electricians. And they were in a doorway in the front of the Manchester Evening News being the most,
So if we look at local landlords, for example, people who are just getting into property, people who are maybe doing new builds, is that something that they could maybe, they could just take one person on to work in their business?
Absolutely.
How would you support a local investor who was doing a small renovation or a small development? How could they work with you to take somebody on?
Yeah, again, whether it be working with us in this area or with a like similar charity in another part of the country, building up that partnership, and so that the charity supports the person who's in the employment role, so with accommodation, with helping with things like that, and then the company are providing the skills, or there's companies like Standing Tall. Now Standing Tall work up and down the country, and they're looking for people. They have hosts, so host houses, so they're looking for construction, different people that to offer people positions. So by working with somebody like Standing Tall would be really good for any property company.
Up and down the country, but things like that.
Doing your research
working
in your area
together
where
as
your
well.
build is.
If one person might not be able to handle, okay, let me start this from scratch, but people who are learning and growing saying, okay, maybe there's a few people, we've gone to these networking events, we would like to do this, maybe I don't need someone full time, but maybe as a collective we could work together and join forces. Number one, it builds great business relationships for you.
Yeah.
You work with these people, but then you have this great CSR initiative, and it's not just down to you. It's, okay, we took this person and there's 5 of us, they do sort of a day a week at each of the builds, and they do the maintenance, or they do X, Y, or Z, whatever needs to be done. Then it gives you that chance to have a piece of the pie when you're not quite
ready
for the whole thing.
Yeah. Or linking up with, we LifeShare was quite one of the founders of the Brighter Futures programme for young people who've been trafficked or been a victim of slavery. So by linking up with the Brighter Futures programme as a construction people, offering a place for somebody who's been a victim of modern day slavery or trafficking, anything like that would give your portfolio a better bit of a, it'll look better.
Oh no, I agree 100%. So if you were a landlord, what you're saying is they should reach out to their local charities in their community, and they should offer to work with them, help them, support them, and then in turn that will then benefit their business long term.
Absolutely.
I mean, people don't have a lot of time, but there are, from what you've told us, there are a myriad of ways that they can help and support, and they can benefit you, they can benefit the taxpayer, and they can benefit their own businesses.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
And then long term, what would be your ideal LifeShare for the next 40 years?
Oh, the next 40. Wow.
One-stop shop building, gateway building.
So right now, the building we're sitting in today has been sold.
Yeah.
And we need to leave this again.
Again.
Because
And this is small. I mean, with all the care in the world, it's way too small for you.
Well,
we
we're
have two
functioning
different
over
sides.
2
You
sides.
are.
So for me, it would be LifeShare services all into one space. So we'd have our kitchens, our dining areas, our computer drop-in, our drop-in space, offices, and even maybe some accommodation above as well.
But to have like that independent
shared
space.
yeah.
So it's not. Oftentimes we get rejected from certain spaces because they don't want our clients coming in.
Yeah.
Whether it be one-to-one support or drop-ins. And if we have this space, like Judy says, that we can share that, we have all of it. And then also, it allows us to work together with other community groups because we know we have a space. So if we have a partner who can deliver art therapy, or they can second a worker to focus on housing applications, then we know that they're there and we can have share those resources.
I mean, the Urban Medical Centre, who's been, Dr. O'Shea was the founder of the homeless doctors, oh my goodness, probably 40 years now. They're still looking for space. So sharing with maybe the space with the urban medical team that deliver for the homeless. So we've got doctor's suite there as well. So the doctor's suite being rented out by them. So there's money coming in from that part separate from Primary Trust, or sharing it with a different charitable partner. So,
someone like there's lots so many
drug
things
services,
mental health services.
So we could look for because I know that your building's got to be in central Manchester. And
Not just on the outskirts.
Yeah, but that's slightly challenging in terms of the cost, because everything here has just gone through the roof.
Yes.
But we'd look for a space here, and And the way that we as investors could do it, we could do it as a collective, or we could do it through SAS pension funds, and we can then buy commercial buildings for you. And then the upper part, which is residential, could then be leased to a different company, and that would be supported financially by yourselves.
But yeah, I mean, remember when just after Christmas we were going to look after the space and Barnabas wanted some accommodation space, so it would be 2 separate entrances. Then we got picked on that building.
We did.
But yeah, we have got another long-standing charitable partner who would come with us to provide the accommodation section. So
it would all work hand in glove.
It all worked hand in glove.
And that's honestly the best thing for the people that we're supporting as well. People talk about joined up approaches, but that's what it is. It's having, you don't have to come here for one support and then go to another charity and then go to the city hall and then go to here and here, because you're losing people in that travel time when they can come in and they're looked after for their mental health, their physical health, their, if there's a physical issue like with housing, if there's a substance issue, if there's all of the past trauma, all of that, you can address it in one space and build a community. You can come in and you learn how to cook, or we can have, easy home repair things. We talked about people go into long-term accommodation, they don't know how to perhaps look after a home by themselves for the first time. You can have courses that, how do you hang curtains? How do you pick what light bulbs? Easy things that you think of. Yeah. But it's not easy if you've never done it before.
Yeah.
But if you build it into that safe, and then those people, they've come there, they've been supported, they've gotten into temporary accommodation, then they get into long-term accommodation. They have that safety and connection in that space, so they know they can ask questions and they can get help, and they don't have to wander around.
If people wanted to help you, donate to you, support you, how can they do that for you?
Absolutely. We can absolutely give you links to that in terms of donations, in terms of whether they've been monetary or physical, but also in terms of just getting in touch. We're happy to share if there's things that we've done that can be replicated elsewhere. That's what it's about. No one person, no one charity can solve this problem.
No.
Well, hopefully we can support you. Hopefully the message that we're delivering out to our investor community resonates with some people, and hopefully some good comes from it. So thank you both so much for giving me this time. Really amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching today. I really hope you've enjoyed listening to me talking to Abby and Judy from LifeShare. What I would really, really love to happen is that we collectively can collaborate and we can find this building for them, and then they have a safe space for as long as the charity exists, and we can provide the support to the homeless people in Manchester, which in turn makes us feel good and saves huge amounts of money for the taxpayer. So thank you very much indeed. The links are below on the video if you want to get in touch. If you like this video and you're interested in more content, just stay until the end and another video will pop up. Thank you so much again.